Market summary. Tech stocks led market decline. The S&P 500 fell nearly 1%, while the Nasdaq 100 dropped 1.5%, as Meta and Microsoft shares tumbled following earnings reports. Meta stock plummeted 10% on higher-than-expected capex for AI and a one-time tax charge, while Microsoft slipped after Azure growth and OpenAI stake failed to impress. Mixed reactions to big tech earnings. Alphabet soared nearly 7% after beating revenue and earnings expectations with AI-driven cloud growth. In contrast, Amazon surged 13% in after-hours on strong cloud and retail performance, while Apple rose 3% as its Q4 exceeded forecasts. Federal Reserve rate cut and cautious outlook. The Fed cut rates by 25 basis points as expected, but Jerome Powell unsettled markets by stating a December cut is not a foregone conclusion. This hawkish positioning drove the 10-year Treasury yield sharply higher and boosted the U.S. dollar. U.S.-China deal fails to lift market sentiment. President Trump and President Xi agreed on a one-year trade truce with partial tariff reductions and resumed Chinese purchases of U.S. soybeans and rare earths exports. The limited deal offered little market relief, leaving investors focused on earnings and monetary policy instead. Bitcoin drops on fragile sentiment and heavy selling. Bitcoin retreated 1.8% to $108,000 amid long-term holders selling, weak market momentum, and cautious investor mood post-Fed and U.S.-China announcements. Glassnode warns of a possible deeper correction toward $88,000 if support fails. Altcoins and meme coins see sharp losses. Dogecoin lost over 7% on whale-led outflows. XRP broke key support dusted by Fed signals and Bitcoin softness. Trading activity points to institutional distribution and persistent sector-wide defensive posture. Gold strengthens amid volatility. Gold rose over 1% to approach $4,000 an ounce, benefiting from defensive flows as equities weakened and the dollar strengthened. The metal's safe haven appeal persisted despite aggressive U.S. monetary policy rhetoric. Commodity price action, oil and copper. Crude oil slid 0.3% to $60, driven by oversupply fears and lack of energy breakthroughs in the U.S.-China deal. Brent remains on a 3-month losing streak. Copper pulled back slightly after a strong run as supply risks keep near-term support despite cautious global growth outlook.